Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorme.com to learn more. And now let's get into today's episode. And welcome to another episode of the Private Practice Podcast. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a really lovely weekend. How's it all going? Of course, I'm very excited because we had a beautiful new soul join Private Practice Momentum, and I'm so excited for her to get started. And yeah, one of the beautiful women, well, they're all doing amazing things actually. So some of them have been getting even more inquiries. Some have had even more bookings. Some have also started increasing their turnover, and they've only been in it for such a short time. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. One of my beautiful clients as well, she wanted to make some changes to her private practice. She's got some stuff coming up next year, and she's going to be less available to work in the business. So she wanted to know what could she do that could, help set her up for this time off. So I gave her two simple strategies, and she's implemented one already, and she's now set to generate an extra $138,000 for her business before the end of the year. So that's, oh my gosh, it's just so exciting when you get to work with people that are willing to be open-minded, try new things, step outside their comfort zone a little bit, and they really do want to make a change. Oh, it's just so exciting. Like, it just really lights me up. Like, I cannot even describe it. It just lights me up so much. It's the best feeling in the world. And the doors to Momentum close in 2 weeks, actually. So they close on the 15th of April. There are 7 places remaining at the current fee. The doors will open again later in the year, but it's going to be for a different higher fee. So if you're interested, maybe go and have a look at the information. I will put the information in the show notes below, so you can go and have a read. And if you would like to submit an application, absolutely, you're most welcome to do that. Go for it. I reply to each and every application within 24 hours. Personally, I do it myself, and yeah, I would love to welcome you in if this is actually going to be an investment for your business that would work for you. So what I'd like to do today in today's episode, now we're all feeling nice and inspired about what's possible, I want to go and answer a couple of questions from our beautiful community. If you're not in it yet, again, the link's in the show notes. It's a free community online called The Ultimate Private Practice. So I put a post in there most weeks that just sort of says, hey, drop me a question about private practice, and then I try and answer it. So one of the questions that was asked was, do you have any recommendation for marketing to couples? And this is such a great question. We have so many couples therapists and relationship therapists in the community. And you know what? Before I got on this podcast, I thought, let me just go and have a quick look at what's out there. So I jumped into Psychology Today, and I was having a look at different profiles for couples therapists and relationship counselors, and it was very interesting. And then I went out of Psychology Today and had a look just with a basic Google search at different websites for practitioners who provide services to couples for counseling, of course. And, a couple of things became totally evident and abundant. So in answer to the question, are there any recommendations for marketing to couples? Yes, there are. So you need to have a really, really good website. So sometimes when I was looking in Psychology Today, I clicked on the button that would take me to a therapist's website and it looked totally different to what I'd seen in Psychology Today. So that was a real problem. Like if you're wanting to get clients, there needs to be harmony between the two. So check that that's happening. The other thing too is, and this isn't only just touch my microphone there, so if you heard something, that was me. This isn't only applicable to therapists that work in the space of couples and relationship counselling, but for everybody, you need to have a very clear message to your clients, because it's that's going to call them into your business, right? They're going to read that message that you've got on the homepage and they're going to make a decision within 3 seconds whether or not they want to scroll, or whether or not they want to start clicking around on other tabs that you've got on your page, or if you have a one-page website, as I know some people do, scroll down to the other areas on the website. So it's really, really important, and messaging seems to be highly problematic for so many practices. And I can see, or I was able to see, that quite a high number of practices, when I went to do a booking for the ones that had online booking, I could see they had a lot of availability, which tells me that their website isn't working. So the website is, it's such a big thing, right? It is a learning curve. Most of us try and make our own websites using something like Wix, or we'll try and make our own website. You know, for me, it was GoDaddy. But the reality is that if you don't know how to write for your website, it will never convert. And if you're not aware of what needs to go on it and how it needs to be written and all those kinds of things, you don't know what you don't know, you'll just perhaps treat it as if it's more of a placeholder. You'll just be like, tick it off, I've got a website. But the reality is that the website actually has a job to do, and it is an asset for your business, because its job is like a real life person going out into the community and identifying people that might need your help, and being able to go and introduce themselves to that person, build a connection, and then say to that person, yeah, come with me, I'll go and introduce you to, your name, right? That is the job of the website. So if your website isn't bringing inquiries through to the diary, and if it's not bringing bookings through to the diary, and if it's not getting you maybe even some referrals, then it's possible that maybe you're just looking at it as if it's just like you just do it and you tick it off, and that there's a little bit of a lack of understanding there about what needs to go on it. So when it comes to recommendations for marketing to couples, my guidance is always fix the website. The website needs to have, as I said, very clear messaging. So that needs to be front and center. And then that's what everything else on the website kind of hangs itself off. The website is not about you. I'll say that doesn't sound very good, does it? When I say the website is not about you, what I mean by that is we're writing the website for and to the people that we want to work with. So when you're putting on your website, I have this qualification, I do this, I use that modality, I. Now we're kind of reading a resume, and who wants to read a resume? I don't. Do you know what I mean? There's no connection there. I'm not. So I'm probably not going to work with you. So all these kinds of things come through. I really want to make sure that your website stands out in the crowd of all the other practices websites that work with couples. And unfortunately, what I notice is a lot of them just kind of like blur into each other and it feels like white noise, because when I'd clicked on, I don't know, it was the fifth or sixth one, that all started to sound the same, and then I forgot the name of the first one that I looked at. And do you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, well, they're all kind of saying the same thing here. The problem with that is that when you're too nervous or too hesitant or resistant or afraid, or there's something coming up for you that's getting in the way of you having a really clear message, what happens is exactly what I said. Your website gets lost in the white noise, and then because there's no point of difference, the decision to work with you comes down to the fee. And let's be honest, we don't want people working with us because we're the cheapest couple counsellor. That's not the person that you want to be calling in. You didn't sit there and start your practice saying, oh, I hope I find all the clients that are looking for the cheapest couples counsellor. That was not your intention. Your intention was to help couples for a reason, right? So really focus on the website. It's not only about having a website and having clear messaging. It's about so much more than that. It's about making the client feel like they're in the right place at the right time and giving them a really positive, proactive user experience of the website. This means no broken links. This means easy booking. I've mentioned this so many times, but websites that don't have a booking button get a lot lower inquiries and bookings than ones that do, right? So if there's something that's stopping you from putting a booking option on your page, it might be worthwhile having a conversation about that with me so that, I can help you maybe work through any mindset stuff or tech stuff so that we can increase your bookings, right? When it comes to marketing to couples, again, most of them are going to go to the website first, not social media. They will come to you on social media if you're already showing up in their feed. If they're probably already following you and your stuff is already sort of, coming up, then hopefully you'll be top of mind for them. If you want to use social media, I would say don't bother with it until you're getting consistent inquiries and referrals from the website. Once that's happening, then move on to adding in a social media platform. So I would just choose one, Instagram or Facebook. So there are different populations and different clients on different platforms, right? So you want to go where your clients are. So if your clients are on Instagram, don't worry about Facebook, just focus on Instagram. The quickest way to get clients, again, is going to be consistency through your messaging and your branding, all those types of things, but also doing things like sharing to your stories. So, and not always a pitch to sell something. So the reason that stories are really, really good is because they only last 24 hours. So nobody's going to feel spammed. People have to click on it to look. So again, they're not going to feel spammed. You could have as many things in your stories at any one time as you like. The other thing that's good about them is you can add a link to things. So I would definitely be doing that. I would be maybe doing on your actual feed, maybe a post every other day if you really wanted to. And I would make them carousels because carousels get more reach and, have more magical fairy dust sprinkled over them than a standalone single post. So there's that. And what else was I going to say? Oh, don't say see link in bio because you can, you can get shadow banned for that. You can just have your post go nowhere because nobody will see it. But yeah, so I would do a post maybe on the feed 2 or 3 times a week, not much more than that, but every single day do 2 or 3 stories, and they don't have to be hard. You can take a photo of your desk, your coffee cup, the plant in your room, your notepad and pen, your printer, the view out the window, the candle, the crystal ball on your desk, the succulent, a book that you're reading at the moment, something you're working on in Canva, a part of your website. Like, there's so many different things you could take a photo of. Take a photo of them and always put a link to something. All right. So you want to always have a link, and it's got to be either something that's going to grow your audience or something that's going to grow your income. Right. Always. They're the two things. So not links to somebody else's website, not sharing anybody else's posts, anything like that. The other thing to do with stories, of course, is to make sure that you've got a lot of text over the screen using all of your keywords, and then swipe it off the story so you can't see it. It's just a little trick that messes with the algorithm in a way that works for you, because the algorithm doesn't know that you've swiped all of those keywords off the actual story. It knows that you put them onto the story. It doesn't know that you swipe the text off, so it can't be seen. Don't delete it, just swipe it off, right off to the left or the right or up or something like that, so you can't actually see it anymore, and you will get credit for that by Instagram, and it will be shown to more people. Okay. Have a picture of you in the stories once a day, because again, we want to build out rapport and things like that. So stories are always the way to go. When people tell me they don't have clients, I say, well, are you putting anything in the stories? And they're not. So you have to be selling things in order to be making money. For us in private practice, selling is service, right? How do we get into service to support our clients? And this is one of the ways that we do it. We let them know what's available. So that is a really, really useful way for you to be able to market to couples. The other thing too is backlinks are amazing. So I would be, seeing if there are other people that also work with couples, but who are not your competition, and I would be doing something with them or for them. So, writing a guest blog post on their website, something like that, and then having them backlink to your website. That will also really, really help you. So there are a few little ideas to get you started, but it's not really any different. Look, of course, there are going to be differences in terms of how we market to certain client groups, but by and large, the processes are always the same. Okay, website first, make sure you've got really clear messaging, make sure it's optimized, make sure it's functioning, make sure it's nice to look at. No bright colors, no big gaps on websites that are blank. Make sure that it looks nice on somebody's mobile phone as well as on the website, things like that. Okay, so that was that question. And then the second question that came up, I'll just read it out, said, do you have any thoughts or ideas on how to best utilize private practice when for some reason we're winding things down with clients, or we're pausing seeing them, or we're not taking on new clients for a little while? I will return to full-time private practice in the future, but right now I'm just focusing on my current client load and some other work. So, some tips on things to do with our website and online presence in the meantime. I have some ideas around digital products, but would love more. So I guess, from time to time, you might want to not take on clients and just focus on your current load, or put a bit of a pause on, put the brakes on. When that happens, I would just put a little pop-up on the website that says, thank you so much for visiting the website. I'm not currently taking new clients right now. However, I do expect to be back on board in June. If you would like me to reach out, around then, please send me an email or please fill out this form, and I will be sure to contact you the first week back, right? So I would definitely do something like that. So just a little friendly alert, friendly notification. Hey, thanks for being here. Not taking on new clients at the moment. We're fully booked, but more than happy to touch base with you, in a couple of months or in a few weeks' time, whatever it's going to be. So that would work really, really well, especially if that's where most of your clients are coming from, which they will be. The other thing too is if you have a couple of key referrers, I would let your key referrers know that things are on pause at the moment and that you'll be back on deck, around this time, and you will let them know and, give them some tips or pointers in the meantime of where to send clients or how to serve clients. The other thing that you could do is if you're not taking on new clients and you just want to focus on supporting the ones that you've got, you could have a wait list if you wanted to. I know they're controversial. Lots of people have different points of view, but if you did want to have one, you could create one and then just look at how you're going to, nurture it until you're able to take people on. Another option is maybe put a little course or program together, a mini course or program together that people can purchase while they're waiting to work with you. And it would be enough to sort of give them a little bit of support and guidance and help that they need. So that would be another way. Another way would be to have a private podcast. So I would create a private podcast, I would sell it, and they get a new episode once a week. You can pre-record it and have the whole episode ready to go. It might just be 6 episodes or it could be 12 episodes and they might only go for 20 minutes, but it's a product and it's done and they get access to 1 episode a week or 2 episodes a week, something like that. So you could do that. Something else that you could do is you could pre-write a series of emails, set it up in your email platform and then sell that. So that could be another way of making a little bit of extra money while you've hit pause on new clients. And it would also be a way that you could still help people who wanted help from you specifically while they're sort of waiting for you to open the doors again to taking on some new clients. So there's some ideas for what to do with the website. I would remove the booking button from the website as well, just so you don't get people trying to book in. And that would be about it. And also, if you have social media, I would go into your Instagram and Facebook. I would create a post and I would pin it in both platforms so it's the first post that people see when they come. And I'll just have a very friendly message there that says not accepting new clients at the moment. You could say you're fully booked, not accepting new clients, and let people know what you want them to do. Click here to join the wait list. Click here to be notified when the doors open again so you can be first in. Do you know what I mean? Let them know what you want them to do. And you can write all of that information in the caption, but certainly put a pinned post because it'll just save people time and it'll save you a lot of time as well. Something else you might want to do is in your email, set up an auto reply that just says something along the lines of, thank you so much for reaching out to ABC Psychology. Just a friendly note to let you know that the business is currently at capacity with clients and, we're not currently taking on new patients. We envisage opening the doors again mid-year. If you would like to be notified when that happens, click the link below and we will add you to the list so that you can book an appointment. Do you know what I mean? Like something like that. So there's some things that I would do. You can absolutely get going with digital products. I've already given you a bunch of ideas there about what to do, but you probably have some ideas of your own. It would depend with the digital products as well on how much time you wanted to invest. So I would be doing something like subscribing to a membership like Secret Weapon. So I'm part of Secret Weapon. I do have an affiliate link for that. I'll put it in the show notes. Secret Weapon is I think it's a resource, but it's a membership where, sorry if you can hear me typing, it's just because my screensaver came on, where they give you templates sort of the middle of the month, they have a new drop. They've got over 1,000 templates, and you can just take their templates, and you can't resell them, but you can add your branding, you can change the font, you can put your own pictures in, stuff like that, and make them your own. So something like that would be, if you're short on time and low on ideas, something like that could really save you a lot of time. So that would be an option. But the other thing too, when I'm talking about time, is just have a think. Like if you're thinking of a membership as a digital product, think about how much time do you want to be in it? How much time have you got to build it out? How much time do you want to be monitoring it and checking in on it and all those kinds of things? So have a think about all of that. I would do things that feel easiest. And always, when you're creating digital products, this is the biggest mistake practice owners make. They make digital products that they like and that they think would be good for a client, instead of listening to what their clients are asking for and making that. So that's a little golden nugget for you right there. Okay. The next question was, do you have any tips, thoughts on finding or working with rural and remote clients? Well, again, that's going to come down to the website. So there is some, myths and I was going to say myth-conceptions instead of misconceptions. There are some misconceptions and some myths around getting work when you're in a rural, regional, remote area. So you can do in-person work, absolutely. Again, the marketing is going to be key for you, and that's really going to be around your messaging and not your pricing. Right? It doesn't matter if you're 3 times the price of all the other counselors. You can still have a fully booked diary. People have to know why they're going to work with you though. And if you're not clear on that, you're not going to get clients. The people who are clear on it are more likely to get the clients, okay? Even if, so I have private practice owners in my community that do really well. They're counsellors, and there's psychologists in their community that do bulk billing, right? And so these counsellors still have fully booked diaries, even though the clients aren't getting a Medicare rebate. If they can do it, you can do it too. And the way that they're doing it is by having a fantastic website, speaks to their ideal client, has all the bells and whistles, SEO optimized, is compliant, all of the things, right? That's always where it starts. That's number one. So I would say focus on that. The other thing too is if you're in an area and you feel like there just aren't that many clients there to sustain a practice over the mid to long term, then you might want to consider providing online options or telehealth. Do you know what I mean? So maybe consider that as well, because that can really expand. And also have a look to see if there are any directories for, practitioners who work in rural spaces. And if there aren't, maybe you're going to be the person that starts that rural directory. So that's something for you to think about there. The next question was, what's the best insurance? So really the best insurance is the one that's going to give you the most coverage. I have been with a few. I'm currently with Aon. I've been with Aon for a long time now, but prior to that, I was with Insurance House. They were also really good. You need to make sure that you've got the right level of cover for your practice, but you won't know that until you go through the application process, number one. Also, check with the membership body that you're associated with, because they will usually have recommendations or a requirement for what they need you to hold. So I think it's something like $10 million. Don't worry, it doesn't cost you that. I think my insurance cover with Aon is $425 a year or something like that. Also, just be careful of this. There are some people in a particular membership that are under the impression that they're getting big discounts because the membership that they're with recommends a particular insurance place. I would say shop around. You can always find a same or better price. It's not necessarily that you're getting discounts. There can also be commercial relationships happening in the background that you're not aware of. So it could be perhaps that we've got a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours between the membership body and the insurer. Now, if that's happening, I would question, is this insurance company being promoted to you in your best interest? Right? Just something to think about. You can get a quote in writing from an insurance provider. Could be Aon, could be Focus, could be Insurance House, whoever you're going to go with. Get that in writing and then call other insurance brokers and say, listen, this is what I've been quoted by such and such company for this level of cover. Can you beat it? And you'll find that they can. The other thing too is you don't need to be a member of ACA or PACFA to get insurance. Unfortunately, they like to give the impression that you do need to be, but the reality is you don't. So don't panic if you're in, Certified Practicing Counsellors Australia, or you're with, Victorian Counsellors Association or something like that. You can still go and get your insurance. You don't need to be with a big membership body. Okay. So the answer to this is the best insurance is the one that's going to give you the coverage you need for the best price. So shop around, don't be afraid to negotiate. It's your hard-earned money, and they want your business. Okay, and then the last question here was how to best begin building a private practice website. Well, do you know what? I would say if you've never built one before and you are brand new to creating a website, I was just going to make one in Canva. I would just make it in Canva. If you are already familiar with Canva and you enjoy spending time in there, it makes a world of sense for you to pop in and go and make one. And in fact, I give a template for a really easy Canva website to make to the ladies who are in Practice Momentum. So yeah, it's easy to do. It's a lot easier than trying to figure out a whole new platform like Wix or GoDaddy or whatever people are using. I would say if you're a beginner, you're not fantastic with tech, don't really know what you're doing, but you are familiar with Canva, it would make sense to just go and do a simple one in Canva. It is certainly going to be adequate for your needs. And then once the business is sort of ticking over and you've got some regular cash flow coming in and the practice is profitable, then if you wanted to, you could outsource and get somebody to make your fancy pants website. But honestly, if you have a Canva website and you know what to write on it and you know how to write on it, and you've got really clear messaging, really clear branding, all those kinds of things, yours is going to be just as good as everybody else's. And don't let anybody convince you otherwise, because it just ain't true. All right. So I hope that this was a helpful episode. As I said, I'm just kind of in my zone at the moment because I'm just like completely obsessed with momentum. We've got our I was going to say first, but it's not. It's our second monthly catch up, and that's happening on Thursday morning. I've been counting the sleeps because it's just so nice to connect with everybody. They're just so lovely, and it was really nice too seeing everybody come together in the community there, sharing how they're finding it, what's happening for them, all those kinds of things. And as I said, just seeing the wins coming through of new clients, new inquiries, and people adding income into the private practice. And even also just thinking about like my other client, like this one, she's added $138,000 to her website because she implemented a strategy that I gave her. So it's just so exciting. I love it so much. As I said, if you're interested in momentum, the information is below. Go and have a read so you know that it's there. If it is, I'll just say some things quickly about it. So somebody said to me she wasn't sure whether or not she should join now or later because she's finishing her master's. I would say totally up to you, always up to you. But my guidance would be, I would say join it now, because it's going to help you get started. Obviously, you need to have the plan. There are steps that you need to take before you open and before you register names and make logos and things like that. Plus, it was created specifically for people who are really busy. So for people who are still doing courses, for people who might be in full-time employment but trying to get the private practice up and running on the side. So it was deliberately created for people who are already busy, which is why it's delivered the way that it is. You don't need to be anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You just have full and total control of when, where, and how you get support, right? So we've taken the obstacle from the past of people being too busy to do things like courses and stuff. We've removed that, okay? Now you can absolutely do it. Yeah. So I just want you to be aware of that as well. And as I said earlier, the doors close on the 15th of April. At the time of recording this, there are 7 places left at the current fee. The doors will open again sort of, I think July, and the fee will be different then. So yeah, if you wanted to, you could also secure a place to start when you're ready. That's also a possibility. And if that's something you'd like to do, you want to get it while it's at this price now, but maybe start later, we can absolutely do that. Just let me know if that works better for you and we'll make it happen. But otherwise, have a really, really fantastic week. Thank you so much for being part of my world, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.